Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into Dan Coe. Quite the figure online, right?
Oh, definitely. Huge following, over 2.6 million. And, well, the income figures are pretty staggering, too. Something like $6.9 million since 2019.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got his writings, interviews, all that, and we're aiming to kind of break down his approach, this mind by method thing he talks about.
And what strikes me right away is, how broad his background is. He's not just a writer. He's got Cortex AI, he's into coding, JavaScript, GitHub.
Right, the tech side, plus the philosophy, psychology.
Yeah.
It's a mix.
It really is. That blend seems, well, central to what he does.
Absolutely. So our goal here really is to pull out the key ideas, the strategies, maybe some tactics people can actually, think about using themselves.
And that core idea seems to be this blend of, like, self-development, the inner work, philosophy, self-awareness with the practical digital stuff.
Writing, marketing, sales, all geared towards that tagline. Work less, earn more, enjoy life.
Which, let's be clear, isn't about slacking off, is it? The sources really stress it's about focused, efficient work.
Deep work blocks, routines, consistent creation.
Yeah.
It's structured.
Very structured, not lazy at all, just smart.
Okay, so digging into the philosophy a bit.
Yeah.
He makes a strong case for self-improvement content, philosophy being like essential for business now.
Yeah.
Especially with AI booming.
Yeah, that's a fascinating angle. He basically argues that real authenticity, the kind that comes from genuinely understanding yourself. Well, AI can't replicate that.
So that becomes a differentiator.
Exactly. It's like a chain reaction, he suggests. You understand yourself better, you develop a unique perspective, you create authentic content that makes you stand out in the market, which leads to business success.
Interesting. Self-awareness as a business asset.
Pretty much. That's the core argument against just churning out generic stuff.
Okay, let's shift to the practical strategies then. Framework 1, the one-person business. What's the vibe there? Digital freedom.
Yeah, autonomy. And importantly, starting small. He pushes this idea of a micro offer.
What does that actually mean, though? Like a small course, a template?
Could be either. Something low risk, high value, gets your foot in the door. It builds trust, tests the waters. Crucially, you build the audience with content before you try and sell something big.
Right, which ties into his whole content-first mantra. Content does, what, 90% of the selling?
That's the idea. You give away so much value up front through newsletters, articles, whatever, that people are already kind of sold on your approach by the time an offer comes along.
Makes sense. Less hard selling needed later.
Exactly. The content educates and qualifies the audience.
Then there's the digital renaissance, this concept that tech lets individuals, learn and build meaningful careers outside the old 9-to-5.
And this really links to needing to be maybe a polymath or what some call a deep generalist.
So not just hyper-specialized.
Well, maybe deep and broad. The point is continuous learning, being adaptable. Static expertise, he suggests, can get outdated fast these days. You need to keep learning across fields.
Adaptability as the key skill.
Okay.
And the final piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
The content flywheel. You mentioned the newsletter being central.
Yeah, that seems to be the hub. He advocates starting with in-depth, often long-form content, like in the newsletter.
And then chop it up.
Pretty much repurpose it, turn that deep dive into YouTube videos, social media threads, maybe podcast clips. It's about efficiency and getting maximum mileage from your core ideas.
Starting deep gives you more material to work with across different platforms.
Right, and it keeps the message consistent. You're not constantly reinventing the wheel for every channel.
Okay, so wrapping this up, a final thought maybe for listeners to chew on. How could integrating this polymath mindset, this broad curiosity with that content-first approach, how could that give someone an edge?
Well, it's about moving beyond just consuming information, isn't it? It's about synthesizing it through your own lens, your own self-awareness.
And then sharing those unique insights. Creating something that actually resonates because it's genuinely you.
Exactly. That synthesis, that authentic sharing. Maybe that's the real advantage in a world increasingly filled with information, but perhaps lacking in unique perspectives, something to think about.